It's getting warmer, we can prune the garden again, we can propagate the plants with a lot more chance of success, so let's get going. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Rose, my pronouns are she, her, and tomorrow I am going on a trip by myself for 10 days, so beforehand I really need to take care of my plants. I've been really busy with setting up the merch, with organizing events, and I've totally ignored my plants, and I can't ignore them for another 10 days. So together we are gonna water, we maybe are gonna repot. I really never know what's coming up once I do these chores videos, but I do know that we also have to do some stuff outside and that we're gonna propagate some plants. Because it is spring and it is the perfect time to do it. I love it so much. So if you have a chore to do, grab it or get to it. Or if you prefer to just watch me do it and have a nice drink and relax, that is also recommended. Yesterday, actually, my therapist said during our session that he got stressed from just listening to my to-do list. So if you want to take a deep breath with me and just do nothing for a little bit, that is also highly recommended. Step 1, get fresh rainwater inside, because these are almost empty or fully empty. Nee! By the way, it is total chaos in the kitchen right now. I'm collecting boxes for shipping plants whenever I'm ready to sell a few, which will be in a few weeks. Since several plants like Ferry are growing new leaves, I am gonna fertilize everyone for the first time this season. And since it only just became spring, I'm also using my watering measure thingy to make sure that I don't overwater anyone before I go, because then I can't save them if they don't like it. Hidden behind him, we have some of the propagations that I'm gonna be selling once I get back. But they also have enough water still. Look how cute! This one is actually growing a new leaf, but it's really wobbly. So I'm gonna give it something to stay a little bit more stable. Maybe a pole or something that I can tie it to. Dry. Dry. Super dry. These long pots definitely need a repot because the crawler plants are digging themselves in, but I've decided to not do that right before I leave. I'm gonna do that when I get back. Very dry. Hello, it's me editing Rose. I'm realizing that me watering my 150 plants and not saying anything to the camera is actually pretty boring to look at. So I've decided to cut out a lot of these parts and just show you the highlights, and hopefully I'll get back to talking again soon. These are some Casper cuttings. I actually haven't showed you yet because I'm waiting to film a video, you know, with full updates like I do sometimes. But here's a preview of what happened with Casper. All the moss pole plants are super dry. I normally don't water the pots as much because I water the moss pole itself, but I think I need to water both right now because it is very dry. Ah, can you see this? There is a good bug on my hand. My Splendid is growing nicely, but I did notice there are 3 plants in this pot that this one is trying to escape the pole, which of course we do not want. So I'm just gonna readjust the clip here to be not on the outside, but a little bit more to the center of the pole. I don't know if you could see any of that, but it's happening. Basically, I'm trying to get all the nodes to touch the moss pole so they get the nice humidity and they can grow their aerial roots and attach. This other small plant, I don't know if you can see behind here, this new leaf, it's actually not attached to the pole at all right now because it was still too small when it was a baby. So I'm moving it to this side. Look at this new leaf, it's adorable. And I'm gonna attach it here. I use small hair clips for it. Works great. There we go, fixed ya. And then the small terrarium. Things are starting to grow nicely in here again after winter, but also after flat mites on my Hoya. I probably still have some flat mites because I still see all the damaged growth. Do you see how the growth points have stumps, like little, here as well, little blobs that don't grow new leaves, it just keeps trying. that is a clear sign. You can see down here as well, there's a lot of new growth, but none of it is actually growing. That is a clear sign of flat mites, the little annoying mites that are smaller than spider mites. You can only see them with a microscope basically, but it's gonna be okay. This is what I'm telling myself because I have to leave and I don't have time to fix it. Kind of an epic plant, so I want it to be happy. Ah, Rupert, my variegated Florida beauty. Can you survive until after I get back, please? Yes, mama. Okay, on this side there is also an issue because my pole broke. I think from too much humidity, it didn't like it. This is my clemenceol, and by the way, it's a bit dark. It's so pretty though, it's growing really well. And I'm really surprised at how many new leaves it has grown, even though it is in the middle of that whole thing with the flat mites. Look at it. Okay, let's give it a pull. Mickey is coming to investigate. Hello, you want some attention? Mick, you're blocking my view, baby. Can you please get out of the way? They did not see at all how I trellised this Hoya. Okay, you're getting kisses now. Micker. Sorry about the interruption. Oh, the sun is coming through. Actually, that means it's almost summer because the sun is coming over my neighbor's house. So there's a sliver of sun. Anyway, I gave it a spiral trellis so it has some support. And hopefully it's gonna help it continue to grow nicely like it has. I'll move that stick to this one. Ta-da! Much better for Hoya Carey. That is all the plants in the living room done. So that is awesome. Oh, I forgot this Hoya. Let's give this Hoya some water and then continue. This one is actually about to flower. Can you see it? A little flower. This is Hoya Bertonier. Nice. And I might actually come home from this trip with quite a few more Hoya because I'm going to the Swedish Hoya Society yearly meeting, so I'm very excited to see what we will see there. And of course, you will see a video of it in a few weeks as well. You want some attention, Mickey? You want some attention? Before I can water plants here, I need to put these boxes back in the attic. This is my stock that I'm keeping. Yes, I know it's a lot. I don't know, I'm selling maybe 10 plants in a few weeks. I don't need this much. Maybe I should remove a bit, but it's all handy. I don't want to throw stuff away that's useful. Anyway, I'm gonna move this onto the attic. Hopefully it's gonna work out and then I have space to water the plants. The big terrarium I just watered a few days ago and that doesn't need to be watered very often. I will give it a spray tonight probably as a last humidity boost before I leave. I don't generally spray in there very often at the moment because the humidity is staying really nice and high. The Hoya on this shelf I think can also do with a bit of watering and some moss that is actually working out. I'm excited. It's a bit of a mess here though. My brain is full of stuff because we're packing as well and I'm leaving tomorrow morning very early. Water everywhere. This is my cutting of a Florida Beauty that I got that had huge leaves, but unfortunately it did not root well and now it just looks really gross. I don't know if you can see, but the water is all algae filled. So I don't know what to do with it for now. I also have this glass with varicosum cuttings. I think I'm gonna stick it in there with them. Neat. Perfect. This way it's not in the way at all. My boyfriend is cooking, which we are not complaining about, but that does mean that there is some background noise. I'm growing some begonia in water here as well. Begonia jiwui, begonia amphioxus, and begonia negrosensis are all rooting in water. Then we have these Hoya cuttings that I have in water here just as a last solution to hopefully rescue them. The lacunosa and the two ollies that were not rooting at all in the soil. I just spotted some fresh roots on there. Can you see? So that is good. I thought these ollies were dead. This one, I don't see anything yet. Stay tuned. The small pots I'm a little bit worried about because they've been drying out very quickly. So I'm gonna water them and then place them in the small terrarium that I have. Look what I found in the big terrarium, a tiny little slug. These are adorable, but they're not necessarily great for a terrarium because they can eat leaves and roots. But I did have a fun time watering while holding it. It's kind of adorable. Just quickly wanted to show you this. This plant stopped growing, so apparently there was some rot. And then here you see a new growth point going out to the side. By the way, this stem is very long. I prefer it to be shorter, so I like to pop them lower in the soil normally. But this plant had some babies at the bottom, so I couldn't repot it yet. And also it's still doing really well. Look at it. It's beautiful. One more thing I have to do is take a cutting because my lovely friend Camilla from Sweden asked to have cuttings of this plant, the Hoya Bella variegated, the Annikebuis I have in here, and the Lidabuis. I'm not sure if I can cut the Lidabuis because it's very small still. This is all I have, these two bits. And as you can see, the rest is Annikebuis, so that has a lot. And I actually spotted a piece where I can cut it for her here. Oops, I broke off a leaf. Tiny cutting. It seems like all the other points are growing really well. Like here, there's several new growth points there. Can you see? This one as well. There's new growth at the end and also a peduncle. Almost all of them have a peduncle at the end. This one here, new growth. I could take this as a cutting as well. Okay, ready? Now let's see the Lidabuis. So this has been much slower. The inner variegated one has been much slower than the outer variegated one. And I've had the pest that I was talking about. So this just started growing again, new growth, and this one has 2 growth points at the end. So I'm afraid I am not able to cut this right now. Sorry, Camilla.
The next morning.
Since it is really sunny today, it's also time to prune some plants because we haven't done that in a while, and spring is the perfect time for it. Most importantly, I think, is the roses. Oh, it's windy. I hope you can hear me. Before they take over the wall again, and the buddleia. Verdena sent us some rose chopping gloves, which are extra long to protect from the thorns, because us roses like to sting sometimes. Ready. I actually don't know a lot about roses, so don't take my advice about how to prune them or anything. We actually inherited these from the previous owner. While I'm doing the pruning, my boyfriend is actually working on taking out some of the weirdo plants growing in his lawn. Sorry, he bumped into my mic there. Woo! So satisfying! This kind of rough and aggressive part is my favorite for the garden work. And then I noticed some of the crawlers or climbers, I don't know what they are, were crawling all along the wall. There were so many strands and they were attached all over the garden, so I tried to clean it up a little bit. It was hard work. Ja, dat bedoel ik. Neem echt de hele tuin over. Ah! Visbedennest. Gadver. Hallo. Dit allemaal. On this wall we have a really nice crawler that actually makes the wall not look like a wall for most of the season, unless it's winter. But it climbs so fast that it gets underneath our neighbor's like top of the roof basically and can ruin it. So that's why we try and keep it a little bit away from that edge so it's nice on our wall but doesn't ruin our neighbor's house. And lastly, I decided to chop back the ferns to give the new fronds a little bit more space to grow out. It can get really chaotic in there over winter, and a lot of brown leaves as well. Okay, let's head back inside for the last bit. Hi Maggie! If you haven't seen my bedroom makeover, check it out here. We made this space into a planty heaven. I kind of forgot. I thought I only have to water 2 plants up here, but there is a bunch. So let's do it. Hi Maggie! Woo! Holy shit! Ah! Okay, this sucks. Ah! Someone commented this would happen, and they were right. I don't mind a bit of water, but this is really gross. Fertilizer on our new sheets. Ah! It just dripped on my camera, that little fucker. Look at how much water came out. What happened to this plant? I don't know what happened, but it's a mess. Let me show you the plants. Ooh, there's new growth already. Very yellow looking syngonium. I don't know why I stopped talking here again, but this is Alocasia watsoniana and a little baby Caspar. And a new anthurium leaf. Adorable velvet mask. The propagation of Vicky is not going well, but luckily most of the other plants here are looking good, even though these were the little assholes that made me spill the water. Let's get the last pieces of watering done. Okay, that was a lot. 2 days of working outside and inside, but I think my house is ready for me leaving, although there's still, you can't see it, but there's still laundry that I need to fold into my suitcase and all the things. But at least the Planty chores are done. If you did them with me, thank you so much. If you just watched, that's also great. I'm a little bit jealous. Big thank you to Gardena for sponsoring this video, and a bigger thank you to you for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again next week. Bye friends! Oh, and if you want to see more of my trip right away, check out my Instagram. YouTube videos take a little bit longer to edit, as I'm sure you'll understand. You'll see some shorts coming by as well that are also a little bit quicker. Thank you!